Everybody's looking for the next lottery ticket handcuff running back to pick up off the waiver wire to stash on the roster. One running back that everybody's looking at right now is Woody Marks, backup running back to Nick Chubb on the Houston Texans. There are some numbers right now that is very intriguing about him that you need to look at today to see whether or not you need him for fantasy football. Today, we're going to deep dive his prospect profile and what he's been doing on the field and him and the Houston Texans to see whether or not you want him for your fantasy football team as a stash option on your bench. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing these deep dives every day on as many players as possible so you get the advanced analytics on their situation, their team, so you know what to do with these players. We're looking at the waiver wire every single day, and on top of that, we're looking at every single game, looking at the matchups to help you set your lineups. Click that button. Stop missing out. It's free. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. Woody Marks, though, one indicator off the rip that you're going to see right now is his workload is trending up. Snap share, 11% week 1, 27% week 2, 48% week 3, 3 carries week 1, 3 carries week 2, 6 carries week 3. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But that's how these trends start to work. The work just starts to rack up a little bit week by week. And next thing you know, you see Woody Marks starting to get more carries, more work. And now you're wondering, who is this guy? But he's a trendy player. People are looking up because Nick Chubb, over the last few weeks, isn't doing too bad for his age and considering the amount of injuries he's had recently. 4.2 yards per carry last week, 9 carries, 38 yards. But he's starting to give up a little bit of that workload. 52% snap share, 53 the week prior, 51 in week 1. It looks like they do not want to overwork Nick Chubb because they know they got problems if they do. So you're seeing a little bit of Woody Marks get sprinkled in there right now. And the fact is, Nick Chubb is 29 years old after some devastating injuries, and we do not know how much longer he's going to last this season. It could be the whole year, a few more weeks, but we got to monitor this situation. Woody Marks was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school back in 2020. Had 24 offers, had some big schools looking at him, Alabama, Wisconsin, went to Mississippi State. There, a very good production profile, especially in the receiving game. As a freshman, and you got to look back at his high school numbers per 24/7 Sports, he only caught like 15 passes during his final 3 years in high school, caught 60 balls off the rep as a freshman at Mississippi State. The next year, 83. Year after that, 48. Then 23. His final 2 years, over 500 yards rushing in each season. Then we go to USC, catch 47 balls, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. We look good in some big moments. 3.04 yards after contact per attempt. 3.03 that final year at Mississippi State. We've proved that we can eat yards in space with 9 yards after the catch per reception. And we can be dominant. Nebraska, Minnesota, Washington, Penn State, Utah, Michigan, all getting it. 100-yard rushing games against top-level opponents. Multiple catches in those games. We get to the combine. We do well. We do well. Not the most athletic running back in the class, but this is a very decorated running back class. 207, 454, decent speed score, 55th percentile, above average still, 51st percentile burst score. Woody Marks tests well. He falls to the 4th round to the Texans. And that's a big deal because at that point of the draft, there was a lot of good running backs to choose from. This is a very deep and talented running back class, and they made their choice on Woody Marks, and the reason why, he's good at all facets, up the gut, catching the ball in the backfield, good vision, 12.4% target share out of college, 90th percentile, college dominator, 48th percentile, less than average, but yards per carry, 5.7, 63rd percentile among running back prospects. So he's got some good numbers to his game, but what we like about him is his ability to catch balls out of the backfield, make guys miss, and his ability to just take on a lot of work. And also, you look at this backfield and you're like, hey, this is a running back that we can paint the picture of him taking over this backfield and getting some good opportunity. You got Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb has been banged up. Nick Chubb is just now coming back at his older age now, and we like Nick Chubb. He is one of our favorite running backs. We'll never say anything bad about him, but we're almost 30 years old. 2023, we got took down by a devastating knee injury. We finished last year with a bad injury. We're coming back this year. And all in all, we have not looked that bad this year. We had that good game against Tampa Bay. We looked solid in that matchup. All in all, he has not looked bad. But how much longer can he hold down the fort? That is the major question. Nick Chubb has 34 rushing attempts on the season, 141 yards, 2.12 yards after contact per attempt, where Woody Marks, although it's not top tier, 2.75 on 12 rushing attempts, 3.7 yards per carry, and no carries at 10-plus yards yet. So still nothing showing us that he's elite yet. Nothing showing us that he can be a top-tier running back when you look at the efficiency metrics. But the one thing that we like here is he's carving out opportunity, carving out snaps, carving out rushing attempts, and that is just the start of what we're going to see here with Woody Marks, and that's the start of any running back that's getting ready to hit, because you got to get the touches first. And even if you're not going to be a big-time hitter in fantasy football, a big-time producer, just getting workload and touches can get you productive off and on throughout the season at the running back position. One thing you want to note is this offensive line for the Texans. The run blocking grades, throwing to pass blocking grades, they're not so great. They have not been great, so he's going to have to be dealing with some issues here when he gets his opportunity or even when he's out on the field. You're looking at the snap shares, 52.6% for Nick Chubb, 27.5% for Woody Marks. We're only a few games into his career. We usurped some of the other running backs on this offense. That is a sign that we passed some gatekeepers. Nick Chubb is the man right now, getting a 64.1% opportunity share. Woody Marks, though, with a 23.4%, it's not bad. Not bad for a fourth-round rookie who's getting some work on the field. And now you're looking at yards created. Woody Marks 2.08, Nick Chubb 2.18. But remember, we look at those run block grades. We look at all that. True yards per carry, 4.03 versus 3.67 of Woody Marks between him and Nick Chubb. Not horrible, but not what we really want out of him yet. But we've only had a small sample of rush attempts. But his ability to catch balls out of the backfield, him being next in line to get reps in this backfield, is what has us intrigued, because you're looking at the routes per game here. Woody Marks, almost 9 routes per game. Nick Chubb, a little more than 10. So he's pushing that in the passing game. That's where he can be productive for you in fantasy football. Almost a 27% route participation rate versus Nick Chubb's 32% if we're rounding up. That is something to pay attention to. If he's getting more workload, more touches, and more opportunities, like say the routes ramp up to 12, 13, 14, which could happen, or if Nick Chubb goes down, Marks is going to get a lot of opportunity. Marks is going to be able to take carries up the gut. He's going to get targets out of the backfield. That is why they drafted him ahead of some of those other running backs. They wanted a running back that can function in all phases here, so they don't have to keep interchanging running backs as much. And Woody Marks has the potential to be that guy for them out of the backfield. If something happens to Nick Chubb, you can use Darway. If you want in the passing game a little bit, you can use Pierce up the gut a little bit. But Woody Marks is a mix of both those two, and they also shown us that he's passed through the gatekeepers to get that work already in the offense. And you're looking at the rushing totals, 141 yards versus 44 yards. Marks only has 12 rushing attempts on the season. A lot of people talking him up, even though he's got an 18% share of the rushing attempts out of the backfield. He's starting to get a little bit more work each game. That is what we're noticing out of him. We're also noticing the snap shares are starting to push Nick Chubb, starting to get further away from the other running backs. The opportunity share is not grand yet, but neither is Nick Chubb's. And you're looking at the rushing attempts share again, 18 to 52%. you're looking at what they're going up against when in terms of run defenses. A lot of this is on C.J. Stroud. A lot of this is on the offensive line. The passing game, being able to push it downfield. Last week's game script against the Jaguars, 17-10. That one was an ugly one. They keep getting in these gritty matchups. You got a gritty matchup against the Titans. You got one against the Ravens that could be gritty but high scoring. And you got Seahawks, 49ers, Broncos, another Jaguars and Titans matchup. You're looking at the schedule. It's not exciting. It's not exciting what you're seeing from the offensive line. That was a big, big commotion when we were doing NFL draft content, doing mock drafts, and we were doing the Texans. A lot of people really wanted that offensive line patched up. They wanted some picks to that offensive line. If you mocked anything other than an offensive lineman, a tackle, or whatever it was, they were getting mad in the comment section, and it's proven to be true right now from what you're seeing on the field, what you're seeing on the numbers. But you're looking at this, we want touches and opportunity. We're already starting to get that. If something happens to Chubb, you're going to be getting touches and opportunity. So what you're seeing here is a lot of your running back that can be used in the passing game, that can also be used between the tackles, that can be rather efficient once given enough opportunity to ramp up. But on top of that, he's also a risk because you need Nick Chubb gone. You're going to be waiting for a little bit. This team is very volatile. Like, it's hard to put eggs in this Texans basket right now. Outside of Nico Collins, it's very hard to do. And you're looking at Chubb. He's looking solid for his age and what he's been through. He's looking solid for that. Like, he's getting touches, he's getting an opportunity. But you're looking at Woody Marks. All it takes is one hit, one injury, or for them to decide to go a different direction, wanting to infuse a little bit more youth in this offense. And next thing you know, he's the hot waiver wire claim that everybody's throwing their fab on. Go look at Trey Benson right now. How much fab went on to him? Now look at some of the other lottery ticket running backs. They're on the waiver wire. Just pick the one you want. Stash him with that last bench spot. He's one of the prime ones right now because you're starting to see the work start to ramp up week by week. And all of a sudden, that snowball is going to ramp up really fast and get bigger. And then you're going to really want him because this team could decide just to look more at Marks and say, hey, we got to see what we have in him. We're losing some games. Let's see if we can tap into some upside here with Woody Marks. Something could happen to Nick Chubb. You don't know. But the touches are starting to ramp up right now. That is very interesting. He can be used in the passing game, which equates well for PPR. Even in standard, that extra work in the passing game where he's getting the ball in space, that could hit the big play. Now you're looking at a running back here that everybody's going to be chasing and everybody's going to be touting if something happens to Nick Chubb. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.